So Mini Stodge says, I'll carry Benny on my cop sub rocket.
Nice.
Actually, you should. Mini Stodge, if they pick you for Copenhagen suborbitals, you absolutely need. I will mail you the TMRO Lego Benny and Mike. And yeah.
Speaking of odd units of measurement really quickly, because this is something that always bothers me and I just need to get it off of my chest even though it has absolutely nothing to do with time in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Wow, say that again?
No, you got it the first time.
I didn't hear
you. No, you totally did. Don't start. Weird units of measurement. A shot, like a shot of whiskey or a shot of coffee or a shot of syrup in your coffee, is an actual unit of measurement. It is exactly 1 ounce, a liquid fluid ounce. That is what it's supposed to be. So when you come to my coffee shop and you say you just want 1 shot of caramel in your latte, I'm going to give you 4 pumps, and do not freak out at me when I start pumping away at the caramel and you're like, I just wanted 1. Oh, you wanted 1 pump, which is a completely different unit of measurement, FYI. I feel so much better now, thank you.
Can I have my soapbox back, please?
No, I really like it up here. It's kind of awesome.
I'm not sure you're ready to wield the power of the Benny soapbox.
Oh, really?
And scene.
Thanks for joining, everybody. See you next time.
Well played, Detta. Well played. We got an open to do. Let's see here. My chat room's flashing at the same rate that yours is, which is weird.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we doing for the open? Let's see here.
Somebody asked if I had a rough week. Space Cadet 88. To a certain extent, yes. Since I have seen you last, we have hired a number of new people who don't understand the concept that if I work in a coffee shop inside of a private company, I probably know what I'm doing. Because I'm not just your average coffee shop on the corner, hired by mom and pop, never had a coffee shop before, and I watched a video on how the machine works once. Like, I know what I'm doing. We go through 250 some odd pounds of coffee a day. A day. 250 some odd pounds of coffee a day. 50 to 60, which pounds of espresso at 17 grams per drink a day. Okay, so trust me when I say that there's only 7 drinks on my entire menu, one of which is a hot chocolate, by the way, and one of which is a chai. So really there's 5 drinks that I need to maintain, and if one of those drinks is one of those things that you are asking for, I know how to make it. So when somebody approaches me and looks at my menu, actually looks at the menu, the entire thing, reads it because there's maybe like 30 words on the entire thing, and then says, oh, can I just get some like espresso over ice with some water? And then I say to you, you mean an iced Americano? And then you say to me, you know how to make that? In a surprised tone? Trust me, I'm going to always remember you.
Well, then isn't that exactly what they should do so that they're remembered?
There are a number of reasons why people get remembered at our coffee bar. One of which is we like you and we, want to make sure that you get the best and greatest service that we can possibly provide. And, so you can come over, get served very quickly and move along in your day so you don't have to waste your time with us. Or, if you want to waste time with us, now you have more time to waste with us. Or number 2, we don't like you and we don't want to have to talk to you.
Whoever your problem customer was this week, I hope they're watching.
Oh, it was more than one. There was another one who came up and was like, I don't know if this is possible, but I just want some like caramel and some espresso and then some ice and like with some milk. And I said, so you want an iced caramel latte? Oh, I don't know. So do you want 2 shots of espresso? Yes. Do you want the full amount of caramel? Yes. Do you want me to fill the cup with milk? Yes. And you want some ice? Yes. Then you want an iced caramel latte. And when that person came back later and gave the same spiel to another one of the baristas, I turned to my barista and said, she just means an iced caramel latte. Because that's what she wants.
Oh my goodness. That's...
Carrie-Ann, you need to understand that this anger leads to the dark side.
I don't care. The Jedi are a bunch of... this is after dark, right? I can say it, can't I?
Children, cover your ears. Say it.
Jedi are bullshit. Oh yeah! Our little peanut gallery over there, totally freaking out. I'm gonna align myself with the Empire because Jedi are complete bullshit. I don't understand what the problem is here. All you do is talk about feelings all the time, and all you do is go recruit whiny little brats, and then you complain because they're whiny little brats. You're the one who sat there and said, search your feelings. Well, if I'm gonna search my feelings all the freaking time, and I gotta feel the Force, and all that other fun stuff, then yeah, every once in a while I'm gonna go, I don't want to. Just because you tell me to, that's not a good enough reason. It just simply isn't. I'm sorry.
Hey, not all Jedi are Skywalkers, right?
No, not all Jedi are Skywalkers. Some are actually quite logical, which is hilarious to me, considering logical people should not be searching their feelings all the time. Because why? They understand the logic of the situation. They don't need to feel about it. Now, how do I feel about this situation? Do I have to feel? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? I don't know what to do right now. Let me think about how I feel. No! Do the right thing or do the wrong thing. It doesn't freaking matter how you feel about it. Do the thing you're supposed to do. It's a logic-based system. It's not a feeling-based system. Jedi are complete crap. They preach about all this logic stuff, and preach is the right word. Don't get me even started on
Hey,
that
they do call
crap.
it a religion. They do call it a religion.
Ugh. They preach about all of this like logic, and we're doing good, and we're doing the good things, and you're supposed to be doing good and do good by everybody, including love, which is hilarious because then you're not supposed to get married. Why aren't you supposed to get married? Because you're not supposed to have possessions. Well, if when you get married you don't have a possession, you just have an equal partner, then it's not a possession, is it? And I can just love the person that I want to love. That's totally ridiculous too. I don't understand. Oh my god, it just drives me crazy.
Coming up, Boeing releases the name of their new Starliner.
You said that wrong, Ben.
Yeah, well,
It was tomorrow begins, right?
Tomorrow begins right now.
That would be so funny if the coffee and the Jedi rant was our intro. That would be perfect.
Oh, well,
Oh,
wait,
that'd
hang
be
on. You want
period.
another rant? She still has the soapbox. You ready? You ready? Watch this. I like Luke Skywalker.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Talk about being such a whiny little bitch. It's not even funny. The only good thing about watching Luke Skywalker be a whiny little bitch is that it actually makes Anakin Skywalker look like A, not as whiny of a bitch, and me, no, totally understand why Luke is such a whiny bitch anyway, because clearly whiny bitching is hereditary. Why Leia's not hereditary, why she's not a whiny bitch, I don't completely understand. Although at the same time, she's the one who's all like, I know you like me, I don't understand, why would you just tell me you like me? What? I don't like you, ew, boys. So stupid. Oh, it's so frustrating. Honestly, the Empire makes so much freaking more sense. Oh, I'm sorry, you screwed up, you're dead now. Cool, next guy, can you do that job? No, you're dead now too.
Tomorrow begins right now.
Seriously.
Oh, man.
Woo. Dad Dog
think it all
says they're
got
laughing
screwed
so
up.
hard they're crying. See here, I got you did the jet. Oh, by the way, so let's crank out an open really quick before. No. At this point, we're gonna do the open at the end, because it's gonna get buried in the middle of a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
This is true.
Stormtroopers get a bad rap.
Stormtroopers do get a bad rep. What is the deal? Again, logic. These things are bred to be basically machines. They're human machines, right? And so then when somebody goes, hey, we need to find this guy, and the Stormtrooper goes, okay, we go find the guy. And then they say, oh, by the way, we want him alive, so don't kill him. And they go, okay, awesome. Bang, 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 bang. They shoot around the dude. Why? Because we want him alive. If you kill the guy that we're trying to get information out of, killing him really is not going to help anybody. To
Well,
be
if
fair, they
episode
could
3
shoot him in
taught
the
us
foot,
anything,
though.
it's that stormtroopers don't care what anybody says.
To be honest, I mean, you know, literally shoot. the
Oh,
guy in the foot
man.
might not
This
hurt
comes
a bit.
from, we've got the new Star Wars movie coming out from J.J. Abrams. We're both huge J.J. Abrams fans, so we're excited. I think he's going to do a great job because he took Star Trek and turned it into Star Wars, so I'm pretty sure.
Totally ruined Star Trek. What's up with that?
So I'm pretty sure with Star Wars, he's going to do an amazing job because he's going to make it more Star Warsy.
Should be fantastic. I can't wait
It really
to see
should.
that.
It really should be fantastic. However, we thought, all right, we're going to go back and we're going to rewatch
Because
in the Machette order.
I have to be serious for a second. Not that I wasn't serious before, I actually was very serious, but I have to be calm for a second. I don't believe that I've watched episodes 1, 2, or 3 since they were in the theater. I probably have seen scenes, I've gone back, I've probably seen parodies, that sort of thing, but I don't think I've seen them outside of the theater. And then when I started thinking about it, the episodes 4, 5, and 6, I'm sure I've seen them probably more than once, but I don't think I've seen either one of them more than twice, ever. Ever. So it made sense to me that we should try and watch all the 6 movies before December, and we've got some time. And we had heard about this machete order, if you will. And if you guys haven't heard about it, you really should go back and look it up. It does a really interesting thing because there's always the huge debate, right? Say you're a big Star Wars fan and you are now having children and the children are growing up and you want to introduce your children to Star Wars, and that's great. I can totally support that. How do you do it? There's the great debate of, do you do it in release order, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, or do you do it in episode order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? And there's huge debates, and there's pluses and minuses to both sides, all those fun things. But then there's this other idea, the machete order, because this guy decided to name it after himself, and he says, quite
It's something
frankly,
I would do. I'd be like, this is the Ben Credible order.
yeah, he says, quite frankly, it's because he's egotistical, and it's fine. And it's a blog post that came out, I want to say it was 2010. If you look it up and you say, like, Star Wars machete order, it'll pop up.
2011.
2011? Okay, thank you. So it came out in 2011, and it's a long blog post, although not quite as long as Wait But Why, talking about, well, it's not, but it is a long
The worst
blog
part
post.
about that Wait But Why is you get to the end and you're like, oh my God, there are 6 more pages.
Right, exactly. Explaining the reasoning behind this different order. And then the new order is so hard to say when you say too many times in a row, I suppose, but the new way of doing it would be to view it as episode 4, then 5, and then you do almost this flashback and go to 2, and then 3, and then you end on 6. And for those of you paying attention, that's correct.
Skip one.
You completely skip episode 1. And the few of the main reasons that you're skipping episode 1 is, first of all, Jar Jar Binks. Secondly, no, but in all seriousness, really, episode 1 deals so much with Anakin as a child, and his process of growing up, and introducing some things that are, for anyone who's already seen episodes 4, 5, and 6, it feels sluggish. It's re-explaining things. It's reintroducing you to the entire Star Wars universe that you really kind of don't need. There are some things that they talk about the prophecy in that particular episode, although it is mentioned again in episode 3. But you don't really need Jar Jar. You don't really need to understand that particular groundwork. To Wicked, of course, To Wicked would say something like that. And you just, ironically, almost everything that is laid out in episode 1 still becomes apparent in the other episodes. So if you start off with 4, you're starting off with Luke's story, and you meet Luke Skywalker, and you go through all of that, and you get 4, and you get 5, and there's the father reveal, and then you do this flashback, and then you meet this other Skywalker. And you, again, like I said, you kind of see Luke being sort of this whiny little kid and growing up in this kind of coming of age. And then you flash back to Anakin Skywalker and you see him be kind of whiny. And ironically, oddly enough, it did actually make me have a different appreciation for the absolute terrible acting that Christian, whatever his name was, did as Anakin Skywalker as a teenager adult. The other interesting thing is that when you meet Anakin and you meet Padme in episode 1, he's like this really tiny child and she's like 10, 15 years older, and it feels very odd when you see them in episode 2 and they meet up again and suddenly they have this love story. If you skip episode 1, if you only meet them at roughly the 2 of them looking about the same age, it's a much more believable love story, although at the same time he's a whiny bitch and I don't know why you would love him like that. So that part still doesn't make sense, but terrible acting, et cetera, et cetera. And she throws out some sort of line of like, oh, Annie, you'll always be that small boy or that young boy I met on Naboo or something along those lines. But if you just ignore the idea that in episode 1 he was a small child when she met him, you could kind of sort of recreate a different backstory for them and believe that maybe they both were the same age when they met, and because they look to be about the same age that they are now, if that makes any sense. It's interesting. It's really interesting. It's a very different way of looking at the entire saga. I'm hoping that episode 7 won't like just throw everything into crazy go-nutsness.
I kind of hope so. I'm okay forgetting episodes 1, 2, and 3 completely and just going 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, and then that might be another experiment that we,
How about you,
we
Mike?
could do.
You Star Wars geek?
Yeah. I mean, I love Star Trek and Star Wars both. And with Star Wars, I watched the original trilogy, probably each one of those movies, over 50 times as a kid. So, you know, I know those movies by heart. I can sit down like half asleep and quote the whole thing like word for word as it's going. I don't do that, so, but, and my whole thing is that episode 1 did have some cool stuff, and I remember when it came out, I really liked all the eye candy in it. You know, all the spaceships and the fights and, you know, the big battle with the other Jar Jar Binks people, and I liked that part of it, and I did like how
They're not
the sword fighting was really
They're
cool.
other Jar
I
Jar
will
Binks
say
people.
that I'm not, at this point so far, granted we've only watched 4, 5, and then 2 and 3. We haven't gotten to 6 quite yet. But so far, I'm not missing that. And episode 3, I believe it is, has the really amazing sort of badass Yoda lightsaber battle
I do like Badass Yoda.
with Count Dooku.
Badass Yoda is kind of badass.
And that's...
That was in 2, though. That was
Was
in
it
number
2?
2.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I
we
think
haven't
so.
gotten to 3 yet, then I suppose.
No,
So yeah,
we
2 I really liked. I really liked the eye candy in that even more. The
Yeah.
battles for that were epic. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I nerded out and like on all of those vehicles and stuff like that they like introduced in all those shots. I'm just like, oh, what are these walkers? I've never seen these ones before, you know. And I did not like the love story just because it felt so unbelievable. She was so monotone. He was a whiny little bitch. And honestly, we can blame George Lucas for that because he didn't direct them. He's like, all right, now I need you guys to be romantic. And they're just like,
Right,
Like,
it's
in what way? Like-
unfortunate. The storyline itself sort of has to be there because that sets up the whole him being so mad. You know, his whole entire downfall, and I understand that for storyline wise, the acting or direction or however you want to word it is so terrible. It's kind of painful to watch.
it is.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks great, but on film, it just didn't come across. But for me, all the eye candy of all the battles and everything like that kind of like made up for it. So like Attack of the Clones number 2 is like in my book is okay. I mean, it's not the same experience as the original 3.
Well,
But then
that's the other thing. The experience of the original 3 is I remembered as my childhood has been smeared by all
Yeah.
this weird CG that got added back in, and I do not like that. It takes away from the story.
yeah, you're talking about like the re-releases and all the extra
Yeah.
computer
I
graphics
just grabbed
that
it
they
on
put
our
in and
Apple
everything.
TV, so it's whatever Apple sells you for a kit, right? They give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a kit for like $100, and we just watched it in machete order. And I'm watching episode 4 first, and they've got stormtroopers on it.
Jabba's in the movie.
Yeah,
and, like, all
that
sorts
which
of
Yeah.
ruined the Millennium Falcon reveal.
Yeah, it ruins the Millennium Falcon reveal, which was really fun. The other funny thing is, like I said, I mean, I haven't watched these movies in years. So when the very first time somebody says, "I have a bad feeling about this," I stopped. I was like, "Really? That's they said that? That's a thing?" And I'm realizing that somebody says it in all of the movies, and because now I'm looking at it from the 2015 perspective of, God, everybody says that. And Ben had to stop me and say, well, yeah, but in 1977, nobody did. Right, okay, it's an homage. Okay, now I understand. Okay, that feels a little bit better. That's fine. What was the other thing? Everyone's different pronunciation of different things. Leia is Leia. She's also Leah. She's Leah a number of times. It's not just like one
Alderaan-
person said Leah.
Alderaan and
Alderaan.
Alderaan from the same actor.
Yes, exactly.
Pronouncing it 2 different ways within like one scene of each other. That
Yeah.
was jarring.
Yeah, that was really odd. And the other thing that everyone always kind of points to for the original trilogy is all of the sort of not star wipes. What am I trying to say? But the wipes across the screen.
Fates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at least in episode 4, there was like maybe 2. there really weren't that many, and or they were done well enough where it was not very jarring. And then we jumped to episode 2.
Would you say it was jarring?
We jumped to episode 2, and it was like, do this, like this, oh my god, and the things! And I was like, what? Why are you doing this? What is going on? It's like you're a parody of your former self at that point, even though you're supposed to be this continuing story. It was kind of ridiculous.
I had forgotten how short episode 4 actually is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. The other neat thing is the dragon video that we saw. It's kind of like a blend between 2001: A Space Odyssey and Star Wars. Like just stylistically, has this kind of future sci-fi feel to it, which is why I like it. Bringing it back to space.
To real space.
Derailed that conversation.
Anyhow, so yeah.
Need a custom stormtrooper helmet for the EVA suits.
There you go.
That would be awesome. I kind of want to see that.
That would be kind of hilarious.
One other thing I wanted to say though is episode 3 of the new ones, I actually really liked it. And even though I didn't believe the love story before, I did believe it like this time. And just like I could totally see and like feel the transformation. Like I feel like Hayden Christensen really, like regardless of whatever George Lucas said, he was just like, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna kill it. And he did a good job. And honestly, like you haven't seen it yet, right, Carrie Ann?
Correct. Well, I mean, I did originally, but I have it in this new way of going about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, the end of that, when they're fighting on that lava planet, like the very end of that, when like Obi-Wan Kenobi's kind of saying his last words to him, made me cry a little bit. Like that's how much it actually got to me. Like even though everybody hated on episode 3 and all of the prequels, I was just like, damn it, I loved it. It was awesome. Like at least episode 3. Like the other, number 1, crap. Number 2, good eye candy. Number 3, it was good. So that's my opinion.
The
Nice.
Tesla Advent said EVA ? That's extra vehicular activity. I think.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, did somebody say EVA?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's where that came from.
Didn't even. Gotcha.
I think that was Mike. I think Mike screwed up the
Oh yeah,
policy.
there was one last thing I did want to say about the whole Force and Jedi's are BS.
Mm-hmm.
When I think this has to do with the transformation of George Lucas himself.
Okay.
You know, when he first started and made the original Star Wars movies in the 70s and 80s, you know, he was almost like a hippie, you know? He's got all this stuff about, you know, the Force and feeling it and, you know, listening to your feelings and your intuition and love and peace and unity of the universe coming together. And as Star Wars became popular, you know, he really made it really difficult for anyone to make any money off of Star Wars other than himself and his companies. That's why the whole Disney thing buying Star Wars was such a big deal. It was just like George Lucas like finally let go of Star Wars that he's been, you know, keeping under a tight leash, you know, all these years.
Right.
And won't let hardly anyone do it. You know, he transformed from Luke Skywalker into the Emperor. You know, in the course of the original movies coming out to the prequels coming out. And I think that all the things that he tried to explain in the prequels, you know, like how the Force works with the whole midichlorians thing, he ruined it. He ruined this whole, you know, hippie, out there, kind of new agey perspective.
That's one of the
on how
nice things about skipping
works.
episode 1, though, is that you don't have to deal with midichlorians at all.
It's only brought up, I think, once in episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You skip all of that. The one thing that I want to say the Machete Order doesn't address, or maybe I think the Machete Order itself doesn't address, but is an interesting way of looking at the overall storyline of this particular group of people, if you will, is that the address of Obi-Wan not necessarily being in a position where he wanted to take on or could take on a Padawan. And so to kind of almost help explain why he has this sort of put upon attitude towards Anakin, particularly. Anakin's a whiny bitch, don't get me wrong. But Obi-Wan
He's a Skywalker.
But Obi-Wan does sort of treat him like, and so does everybody else. Everyone's like, oh, young Jedi. Like everyone kind of talks down to him. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but they do all speak down to him. Which I thought was kind of odd and interesting, and it just sort of, you know, manifests, and I can see how and or why he would always feel that way, but I think that tone is really set up from Obi-Wan, and that you don't really get, when you skip episode 1, you sort of don't have a deep understanding of that part of it, if that makes any sense.
And you don't understand that Anakin started late either. Like all the other recruits started when they're like toddlers,
Right.
and he started when he was like, what, 10, 12 years old, something like that. So like he
Right.
already had to play catch up, and that's why everyone's just like, you may be an adult now, but you don't know the same shit that 10-year-olds do, so shut up.
Right, which is, that is a very minor downfall, I feel, of this particular order. But interesting nonetheless. I think for anyone who's seen the movies a number of times, I think it might be an interesting experiment to watch them in this particular order and see if you get something slightly different out of it. Just an idea.
That's interesting.
I would say that the Empire is awesome. That is all. Villains, actually, what makes a good story is a good villain.
Yeah.
And if you have a bad villain or a poorly executed villain, you have a bad story, no matter how awesome your hero is. You could have a lame hero, but if you've got a bad villain, you still have a great story. And so I always root for the villain, because the villain is what makes the story. And the thing about the villain is actually very, very awesome. They're very good at what they do, because traditionally they beat the living snot out of the hero over and over and over and over again.
To your credit, there is, I'll have to look it up, and
I'll take it.
And people are
Whatever
gonna,
this is, I'll take
people
it.
are gonna yell at me. A completely different trilogy.
Whatever alpha, evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
In a different trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogies. If you go to that Batman, just those 3 movies, somebody talks about how Joker is actually the hero out of all of those movies. And at first you're like, well, that can't possibly be right. He killed all those people, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And it's another one of those, like, it goes through this description about how, well, here's the deal. The city had all this disarray. Joker had this idea. He unified all of the bad people together, and he started bumping them off one by one, because he clearly was the most intelligent of all the bad guys. Then next thing you know, this vigilante comes around, and he's trying to kill Joker, and all he ends up doing is he screws up absolutely everything. The city doesn't want him. Then he goes away for a while, and the city's fine again. Therefore, Joker, hero. And I was like, no. But I thought that was interesting.
Guardians of the Galaxy did not have a lame villain. Should we do an intro? Is there more?
I suppose.
Is there more?
I'm good.
I mean, I know.
I got a lot off my chest. I feel awesome.
So last week we talked about Disney, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. We
ago.
talked about Disney and the room got all upset. This week we're talking about Star Wars, but I think the room needs to remember this is after dark. We can talk about anything. It doesn't have to be.
Can I say one more thing about J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, go for it.
There were a lot of things that I didn't like about what he did about the Star Trek movies, but the thing that I did like is he opened it up to a whole new audience. And like suddenly, out of my circle of friends, I was the only one who watched Star Trek. Now they all watch Star Trek,
Right.
and they're telling me about, oh dude, I just saw this episode on Next Generation. It was so cool. And I'm just like, yeah, I know, it's awesome. But J.J. Abrams isn't a Star Trek fan. He is a Star Wars fan. So not only is he going to get stuff right, but I think it's going to be cool. We know the type of quality of action movies that he puts out. So it's going to be awesome in that regard, even if it's a lame story and it has a unbelievable love story or all tons of BS. It's still going to have awesome fight scenes, and we're all going to be like, it was worth the $10, whatever.
It's funny. Mr. Moxbar says Star Wars is by far better than Disney, meaning us talking about Disney versus Star Wars. But they're merging. Remember that. They're going to become one and the same. It's happening right now. Right? J.J. Abrams is producing the next Star Wars movie out of Disney, using Disney funds. Disney is building the new Star Wars worlds in their parks. All the Star Wars marketing, all the Star Wars stuff you're seeing is Disney. So, like it or not, you're the same thing.
Well, I mean,
That's cool. I'm just glad it's out of George Lucas's hands.
I'm too. He ruined it. He did really good with the first one, kind of set the groundwork, but I don't think he had the capability of moving it forward correctly. And
Yeah. And there's so many cool ideas that are coming out of Disney. Have you guys heard of Star Wars? I think it's called Ronin or something like that. there's
Rogue
all sorts
One?
of these really cool ideas that they're going to like spread out that are in the Star Wars universe, but are aside from the main cast of characters.
Yeah, we're going to get a new movie of sorts. You get the major movies every other year, and then filler movies in between those. So between 2016 through 2019, we get one Star Wars movie every year. It's going to be... You're thinking
Awesome.
Rogue One? I think it is.
Well, yeah, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Maybe.
19.
I just remember that the description of it was that it was going to be like a Kurosawa samurai film, but set in the Star Wars universe. So I was like, that sounds awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
there's the one where there's the yeah, this was released to the public. There's the one where it's one about the team of rebels that actually went and stole the plans from the Death Star.
Yeah, that's... You two,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
hmm
Are you two not talking about the same thing?
maybe. I don't
the
know.
many Bothans who lost their lives.
Yep. All right.
We have to do an open.
We have to do an open. All right. So. Boop.
Oh, that's right. The Martian came out last night. I gotta go see that.
Oh, it's already out.
Yep. Yesterday was premiere day, I
Hey,
think.
Dada, Kitty, what are you doing tonight?
Nothing.
Wrong answer.
Watching the
You're
Martian.
going to see The Martian now.
We're going. Wait, how'd you do that? We're going to see The Martian now.
The question is, do I have a babysitter?
Hey, got it, Kitty.
Yeah.
Do you have a babysitter?
I gotta check.
Sorry, I'm in Arizona.
It's not that long of a drive.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah, you guys should come out here and we'll all go see it together.
Is it playing at
I
the
don't-
Chinese Man Theater? Because I really want to do an IMAX all right. Here's why I'm all stuck in going to the. All right. So before we do our open.
Can you talk about that?
Oh.
All right, cool.
Wait. Yes, that is public knowledge. I can talk about that.
That's public knowledge?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Can
Yes.
you give me an acronym and I can maybe confirm that?
BLP.
I don't know what that means. Can't confirm.
It's public knowledge.
Okay. I'm trusting you on that. I don't know.
I have to use a different name for it. Because
Just
Mike's
don't-
off.
just-
Mike's off for a second.
Yep.
Cover up the hands. There you go. Secrets. So many secrets. Tomorrow is full of secrets.
Bring us back.
Hi.
Very cool.
Sorry. Just
Yep.
figured we
Nope.
should
So
double
she-
check
Yeah,
that.
no. So the reason I'm excited about going to the Chinese Man Theater, whatever that is that they have one of the largest IMAX screens in the region. But more importantly, they have the new IMAX laser projector, and so I want to see if two things. Worldwide, they've announced that every IMAX screen will be showing Star Wars Episode 7 when it comes out. Like, it's an unprecedented thing, which means it will be shown on that screen when it comes out, which is also traditionally, like when Star Wars comes out, that's where all the nerds line up to go into that theater, apparently 6 weeks in advance. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get 4 tickets to the 12:01 showing of Episode 7 at the Chinese Man Theater in the IMAX laser projection area because I want to see that awesome laser projection. So, also, I just want to see the awesome laser projection, so if The Martian is playing there, I would love to see it there.
Right.
There you go. Open the pod bay doors.
Okay. Still haven't opened to you.
All right, I'm going to do...
The Martian's release date is October 2nd. What Mike was talking about was the advanced premiere screening, something for Star people.
Why don't I have advanced premiere screening stuff?
You're not hoity-toity enough.
Shenanigans? I want to be hoity-toity.
Apparently, there's a level above where you are.
No.
You don't get above Galactic Overlord, man.
I want to see it now.
Color me surprised too.
They color me surprised too. All right. That was my Skywalker impersonation. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's about right.
All right.
No. Oh, sorry.
I'll do Boeing shows us their Starliner, and then Carrie and you can do Firefly shows us their engine.
Okay.
And Mike, you can do...
And Aerojet Rocket Giant shows us their money.
Yeah, but I don't have a covering shot for Aerojet Rocketdyne.
Or
so,
then you can say SpaceX shows us their insides.
yeah, space.
It's gonna be a sexy episode tomorrow, everybody. Get ready.
sassy episode. I don't think we can do that in our open.
Why not?
SpaceX shows us our spaceship or shows us their dragon. Whatever you want, Mike. You've got dragon. You're gonna announce dragon, right?
Okay.
You're third.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. This is take number 1. Coming up, Boeing shows us their Starliner.
Firefly shows us their engine.
And SpaceX shows us the inside of their Crew Dragon.
All that, plus we're going to be talking about why we have a no acronym policy, why you should too. Stay tuned. Tomorrow begins right now. Now. Huh?
Right now?
Now. How long can we make her hold that face? It's creepy, isn't it? All right, let's do it again because I stumbled over the
Acronym?
acronym. Yep. All right, this is number 2.
Try to
Number
talk faster, too.
All right. Coming up, Boeing shows us their Starliner.
Firefly shows us their engine.
And SpaceX shows us their inside of the Crew Dragon.
Plus, we're going to talk about our no acronym policy and why maybe you should adopt it too. Stay tuned. Tomorrow begins right now. Now. Like anytime, gotta hit the button, begin the show. Seriously, let's do this thing. I'm not going to take it that far. All right, there we go. All right. We done? Feel like we're done. Oh. Whew. I think that's it. Are you done complaining about Luke Skywalker and how Jedi are
Jedi are
lame?
bullshit.
How Jedi are bullshit?
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm very surprised Dada didn't just like cut me off and or like stampede over everything I was about to say.
Also,
Everybody's entitled to their opinions.
Yeah, this is America. You're allowed to be wrong.
So we can babysitter as long as it's not too late.
well, it doesn't matter. Apparently, it's not out. But I mean, we can still do dinner. All right. On that note, Mike, thank you. We'll see you in a week.
All right, awesome.
Have a good one.
Good to see you guys again.
See ya.
Take it easy.
And Mini Stoge, yes, we're planning on a show next week. Dada, press the buttons. Let's blow up Alderaan. Or Alderaan, whichever.
Alderaan.
Alderaan.
It's a stupid name.